What do you say, Haley Beth? How you doing? What do you say, Ash, man? There we go. And
how's it going?
Check, y'all. Hey, Ash. I got you, Ash. Give me a mic check, Haley.
Hey, Ginn and Ash, you hear me?
We got you. We got you. How you doing, Mama T?
Yep.
Yeah, Haley. Let's give Chad just a second to get here while I push all the buttons. Hey, Goopy Goop. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Well, that's what I know about that. How's everybody doing? I'm just setting up stuff here, guys. I'll be right with you. All right. What's happening, Goopy? What is happening, Ashman? What is happening down there? Let's see. Our buddy Chad. There he is. Our buddy Chad was a little bit green. I'm hoping he's okay. We sent back to green. We sent back to Andromeda to get his meds for him. I don't know if they made it here yet or not. The spaceships are surprisingly slow. Is he coming at us from the void?
Probably.
Uh-oh.
That's not
I don't think they're going to let him talk to us.
That's bad, dude.
Real
can't
bad.
See, can't hear.
We got a little bit of static and a black screen if you can hear us.
Want me to start or wait for Chad?
Yeah, let's wait for Chad. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on with his account. Uh-oh. Haley, did you just throw Chad out? Ash, I think Haley just kicked Chad out. I think she's trying to take his job.
She is.
I think Haley might be trying to take Chad's job.
I think so.
Haley, did you just throw Chad out of here?
No!
Goodness gracious.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Oh.
Bruh. We're going to give it just a minute to get here, guys. Chad was having a little bit of technical difficulties with his connection there. So we're going to see if we're going to try it again. Everybody, somebody sent Haley threw him out, so somebody else send him an invite.
I got him.
Haley, Mondo, how you doing, Mondo? Good to see you, pal. Appreciate you being here.
I'm waiting.
Oh, we got a Chad RevArt logo at least.
Will it function?
And blackness.
Thank you, Mondo. I can't.
Hello,
Houston?
darkness, my old friend.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Chad? Can you hear me? Put up purple heart if you can hear me.
What's up, Lost Paintbrush?
I'm lost.
We're trying to get Chad's stuff to work right now. Maybe the first 30 minutes of the show is just going to be watching Chad in the dark. Hope everybody's doing all right tonight. Hey. Appreciate you coming in here. We're trying to get Chad back in custody. They came and took him.
In his defense,
Haley threw him out again.
Dark.
It was very dark. And Haley just threw him out again, man.
Wow.
That's twice Haley's thrown him out. She's tough. She's tough. I don't know what he's going to do. He might have to go climb up in a different pine tree or something. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure. Well, Haley, he's back again. See if you can let him back up. Oh, Ash got him. Hey, Laura.
Hey, there he is.
We see him.
He looks propped up.
Okay. We got him like Weekend at Bernie's.
Is it frozen?
It's catching
Yeah.
up. It's
Let it
catching up.
go.
Hold on.
It's catching up. That's what
stop
happens when you don't
motion.
pay your spaceship intergalactic bills. What's up, Lisa? How's it going? Monique, how are you, Monique? We're trying to get Chad back out of the Matrix here.
Head.
I heard him say head. Did you hear him say anything?
That's what I heard.
I heard garbled, garbled, garbled head. We have a nice picture of him over there. This is great. Maybe we'll
man.
just do this for the rest of the show. This would be fantastic.
That sounds good.
Oh
Anybody have any suggestions for our buddy Chad? Could someone please drive down to Missouri and take him an antenna that's like 400 feet tall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's storming in his house. What do you think, Ash?
It could
And
be.
did you notice there's some lady roaming around in our thing going on here, Ashman?
Yeah. I've been trying to ignore her.
She has a show on Friday nights at 6 o'clock Eastern time. The Haley Dot show. Usually you can
right.
find a bunch of us hanging out there. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun.
Is that you, Haley? Oh, okay.
That's
Oh,
the Haley Dot.
All righty.
Hey, shining through. So right now, y'all, we are just having a little fun. Chad Rev Art is having a difficult time joining us, so we're just gonna ride with that. Haley's gonna do the introduction a little bit late. We're just trying to give Chad a chance to join because he's a pretty important part of the show. So we're gonna give him just a minute to do whatever he needs to do, and then if we need to, we'll just put a picture of Chad up and.
We should do that. We should just have a picture of him ready to go. Like whenever
got
this
one.
kind of thing happens.
I got one. I could do that. Let's see here. Well, I don't want to push too many buttons because there he is again. Something might go wrong. Laura, we're going to try this again, Laura. If you see Haley, throw him out again.
There he is.
Well,
and you're moving.
Yes.
You're moving. And you're
We ready?
got sound and vision, everything.
something is afoot at the Circle K, that's for sure.
Don't look straight at him, y'all. Don't look straight at him.
Too late.
All right. We got a sound on Chad Rev Art. We got movement. We're going to go with it. We got Ashman. Haley Beth. 1, 2, 3. Get him.
Hi, welcome to the Ginn Project Show. My name is Haley Beth, owner of Haley Dot. I'm a diamond dot artist. Tonight, we are going to start a new format. So, if you feel confused or dizzy, try laying down to take a nap. Take it away, Ginn.
Thank you, Haley. I appreciate you. Look, I've already put Ashman and Chad to sleep.
But first, if you're not tapping your
That's right. Haley Beth, the Haley Dot Show, 6 p.m. on Friday nights. That's Eastern time. It's just a lot of fun. You better get there. If you don't get there on time, she'll put you in the basement like Chad. She likes to put Chad in the basement. He's always getting in trouble and ended up in the basement.
Always
you
in
saw
the
it. She
basement.
threw him out of the show three
Always.
times just now. So
Three times.
thank you, Haley Beth.
3 times.
We appreciate you. She's an amazing diamond dot artist. She's the MC for this show, and we love her. Thank you, Haley. Somebody throw Haley out now. We love her that
Haley,
much. Kick her out.
Haley, I'm going to return the favor. See you later. I gotcha.
Fellas, good to have you here with us tonight. I've been looking forward to this one. You might have heard we're going to change things up a little bit, guys.
Well, that's never happened.
We are going to completely change the format, the time, the amount of time that we have a guest on, the days, that all of it. So, anybody want to give a breakdown on that part of it, or you want me to do that? Or hey, Johnny Ray, what do you think,
Breakdown?
fellas? Where do we want to start? Where do we want to start? Do we want to just gently put a toe in for them, or we want to just throw them off in the river?
Billions of years ago.
I'm going to always vote for toes.
Toes
of years ago.
So the show
forefathers.
will be on the same time, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time, with the exception of occasionally we're going to do a special show now and then so we can fit some people in that aren't able to make it during the time frame that this show has been on for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Seems like anyway. So we are going to do an alternating schedule this week. Tonight, we're going to do a panel discussion led by KyraWilsonArt about the ins and outs of galleries, do's and don'ts, some things we've all learned over the years, and hopefully that will be very informative. And we're going to pick some different topics like that, and we're going to have panel discussions, and we're going to try to do what we can to clarify things on occasion. And then on the opposite side of that, every other week we will be doing the interviews, just like always. However, they will go from 10:30 to 11:30. It will be a 1-hour interview. It will be a hard break on that, so whoever is doing the interview is going to have to consider that, and then we will have some programming for you after that. So there will be a 30-minute piece before on every show, and that'll be when we do shout outs and talk about projects that are going on or what various people have going on and things like that. That'll be something similar that we're doing in the wrap up at the end, and it just got a little bit harder to get on the Ginn Project Show, to tell you the truth. So
that's many spots.
And we're working on the webpage. I was looking at it today. I actually managed to link my phone to my computer and download some pictures and stuff. So with the wiry thingy and a button of the pushing, and I did a little bit of I might have burned some sage too, but we got
so technical.
So coming at you soon, we're going to update the Ginn Project website. It's going to include a bunch of artists that you see us hanging out with. It's going to have a spot on there where you can, if you want to be on the show, where you can put your information in there, and we may or may not get back with you on that. So that's how it's going to work.
Also, don't go too far before we say, right now, submissions are closed until further notice.
Yes.
Once the website is open and the pathway to submissions is clear and open, then submissions will open back up for more artists to be on the show. Thought I might throw that in there for you.
Yes, thank you for that. So we have a long list already of folks, and that list, if you can imagine, if we're doing one every other week, just got twice as long. So if you're not on the list,
it's going to be dynamic.
Yes, it's going to be dynamic.
That means if you're next on the list doesn't mean you're going to be next on the list. It depends on what we have cooking, what the shows are about, what's going on, a lot of things. So it's a little different. But hey, now you get panel discussions.
The good news is, one of the things that's been bugging me is since we brought Ashman on, we got this dude over here that's super knowledgeable, good at a lot of stuff, and he don't get to say a whole lot. And that don't make it a whole lot of damn sense to me. So we're gonna change it up.
That was classic.
So much to say.
so many things. We're clearing the room for all the activities
and the everything. Yes.
That's right, Bob. That's right, Bob. You might soon need to have your people call our people, buddy. That might be you got the number though. You'll be all right. You got the number. You'll be fine. Don't worry, Bob.
HR's in the chat, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And
Fire
the corrals went hooray! Come on, guys, hooray! Hooray for the new format! Hooray! Okay. I see. Lord J gave me the look.
Lord J. Hey, the foo-foo. Yes, Fire Puppet. Good to see you back to school. I think web building is one of the things that you do, if I hear tell. So we've been working on some of that. We're still going to have Laura and Spurs and the usual suspects running the chat. It'll still be the same times, all that kind of thing. We're just going to bring you a little different programming, and it's going to be a little bit harder to get those interviews in, just because we're getting busier and busier, and that's just the way it's got to be.
And
Ashman,
for those
I'm
of you
sorry,
who
go ahead,
didn't
Chad.
figure that out, I was just going to say, for those of you who didn't figure it out, like one of the reasons this is being done is so we can have more time to do, like guitar building. I don't know, something was said about Ginn was wanting to try that or something. So
I'd like to give it a shot.
we're gonna clear a little space for Ginn to do Ginn things
Are you saying stuff and things take time?
and stuff. They do, and
Hey, Jill.
all of
Things do
you
take-
unknowingly just gifted Ginn a little more time in his life so he can build guitars
you.
for, like, I don't know, cool stuff. So yeah, thank you on behalf of the entire Ginn project. Can I go on? You want me to go on with some of your announcements? Or are you going to pick back
Do your
up?
thing, man. Do your thing. You're
Oh,
doing great.
cool. All right, guys. So pay attention. Get your notebooks ready. I'm not
Ashman's
going to
next.
say it,
Don't
Ash.
worry.
I'm not going to say it. Also, as he said, there is an overhaul going to the ginnproject.com, which means the ginnproject.com is actually going to maybe include some of the Ginn Project's modern things, like guitars. So, very soon. Do you have anything up yet, Ginn?
I did just the regular website, the way it's always been.
No, I mean, like, did you add any of the pictures? You were talking that you got them to, like, no, okay.
I got them on the
So,
computer.
A
okay.
chance. Give the man
Well,
a chance.
don't go over there, and if you do this, because it still looks like it did before. And trust me, I know the pain of rebuilding your website. Thanks, Kyra. I'm totally kidding, Kyra. Anyway, so yeah, there's going to be a ginnproject.com that is already there, but it will have cool stuff, new stuff, rather. And there's also going to be a section for the Ginn Project Show. And from what I hear, I was sitting around a campfire the other night. I think there's going to be Ginn Project Show merch coming at some point. Not just the Ginn Project, but Ginn Project Show.
I believe I have some friends that are working on that with me.
That might be pretty cool.
There
So
might
that's
be
something
an
to definitely
artist
check out.
involved.
Might
He
be.
might be in the Arizona general area.
He might be. I'm not going to tell you guys who it is. We'll just say we'll call him A Man. No, let's call him Ash M. That's better. That's what we'll call him.
Oh, okay.
So that we can keep his anonymity.
All right.
Yeah.
I've met that guy.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
know. He's something else.
So yeah, I hope you guys got your running shoes on tonight because we're gonna try this new stuff. It should be really cool. I hope you guys like it, and if you have topics, you might be able to throw them at us here and there. Not to say we're gonna do them, because we do that one thing. Don't forget, we do what we want. So you can give us ideas, and we may or may not take them. But if we take it, you may or may not get credit. I'm just kidding. You won't get credit.
You can
won't
even
get
give us
credit at
dumb
all.
ideas, and we might do those on the Low Orbit Lounge.
Low Orbit Lounge.
Some of the more
Yes.
professional-minded stuff we're going to deal with over on the Ginn Project, and some of the low-brow, dim-witted stuff we're going to deal with over on the other one. If you joined us on the Low Orbit Lounge last week, you got to see Chad and Ash absolutely destroy a troll. It was fantastic.
It was fun.
They tried to let him go and release him back into the wild a few times, but he just wouldn't have it, so they had to absolutely take his britches off and spank his little ass. It was funny as hell.
I got
We
little
did,
troll
too.
shoes on now.
Yes, we thoroughly did. It's
was
funny
fun.
because
We
we
all
always
did,
talk about the
Haley.
different way to handle all these trolls, and we displayed yet another way, and that was, man, we really did try to do catch and release. Like, how many times you kick him out, Ash? Like 3?
3 times. 3 times.
At least 3
He
times.
came back
And
with
finally I was
5
like,
total
merciful.
different accounts.
Yeah, he kept getting banned and coming back with new accounts. And finally we were like, okay, we appreciate your tenacity. Now hold still for your lashings. And we took him to school. It was fun.
It was
really fun.
hilarious. So you might
Is this
you
the
might
part of
catch
the
something
show
like
where...
that.
No, go ahead. You might catch something like who?
Oh, it's over on Favorited on Thursday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern time. You might get to see Chad undress a troll. Who knows?
And then hold him down, grease him up, and let Ash spank him.
There was Cornhusker lotion involved. I'm telling y'all, he's got that shit in like a holster. Chad, if y'all ever see Chad in
Brought to
public, he's got a holster with Cornhuskers lotion in it.
I got a built-in little holster in my truck for it.
Yes, Eve. Yes, Eve.
Man.
So, we got Chad Revart. Y'all got to turn on your notifications for him because the only place you can really catch him is on the Ginn Project Show or the Low Orbit Lounge, or sometimes he'll hang out with one of us doing a live. But he's got a pretty tight circle of folks that he does lives with. So he might leave right in the middle of this show. He's contractually obligated to hang out with Ash and I. So he's liable to disappear any minute.
Too. I did.
Do some Star Trek.
So, yeah.
Sorry, I'm a stickler
on
about
us.
the blood signing.
Yes. Ash insists on the blood signings.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's
to be a wizard from
really?
another planet, Ash has a lot of rules.
He does.
I think that's why he's a wizard from another planet.
Yeah. You guys think he's newish here. Like, you think he's been here the shortest amount of time, but he's actually, like, he's got seniority over me at our home planet.
Yes.
It's true.
He is actually a big deal on his planet. Several planets in that system, actually. But anyway, we're going to say too much and get in trouble.
That's true.
Let's bring him up since we're talking about him.
Yeah, bring him up. Oh,
maybe he can share his thoughts on the new format and what we're doing. Since we're blaming everything on him, maybe we'll give him a minute to.
Well, I'm going to shove it over to Chad and blame him on everything. So yeah, I think this was all Chad's idea. If it goes south, it was Chad. If it does well, then Ginn and I had the most to do with it.
I like the way this guy thinks.
And Laura.
I like the way this guy
thinks.
HR. Yeah, absolutely.
Laura, you better give him the eye too.
Chad, where'd you get the cool wizard hat from?
Yes.
I think we got that over on the Ginn Project, over at his little merch place. You can get one just like it.
You go to my bio in the link tree. There's you click on the link tree, and if you scroll down, it says live, laugh, and offend, and it has apparel, and the shirts and the hats and stuff are under that link. Hopefully he's still over there doing things. It's going to be fall soon.
Can you get a Ginn hoodie there?
You should be able to. You should be able to.
A Ginn hoodie. It's fall time.
Yes.
I will call him and make sure. But yes, you should be able to. We'll find out.
I'm pretty sure soon we're going to have a new image all over that stuff too. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Yes. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Sticky.
So sticky. Speaking of sticky.
Oh no.
Here's one of the stickers you can get over at ashmansbasicartstore.com.
Oh, you're kidding me. You can get that at Ashman's Basic Art Store?
Where's that again?
Wow. That's at ashmansbasicartstore.com.
.com.
So, fellas, tonight, yes, Ash, what else you got, man? I'm sorry. It looked like you were about to say something.
No.
Talk, Ash. Say stuff.
Oh, man.
Talky words.
Well, tonight we're going to have game night over at Ashman's Basic Art Show, and that's at 1 o'clock Eastern, and that's at 10 o'clock Pacific. So if you're hanging around and you don't know what to do, go ahead and head over there, and we'll play some games. And it's a little more adult over there than it is on the Ginn Project, so bring your big boy pants and have fun.
Can you win a sticker over there on the show, on the trivia night?
You know, I should start doing stuff like that. That's a good idea.
You can win a sticker.
Go over there, stick around, and find out.
Maybe if I give trivia questions.
Ooh, I split my sticker with Chad.
Yeah,
so I'm not splitting my sticker. I'm keeping my stickers.
Sticker splitter.
Sticker splitter. He also
just
has a
bragging
show
rights.
called Genteel Poverty. Tell him about Genteel Poverty, man.
Genteel Poverty is a podcast I do with my wife. It's on just about any streaming platform except for Pandora, because Pandora, for some reason, I can't get that to work. But any other place, you can listen to myself and my wife talk about heady topics, anything from marriage to, what else did we talk about? Getting rid of antiques from our parents, that sort of thing. You know, who has to live with this stuff after other people have passed along? So we talk about all kinds of stuff.
That one.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. But
Yes.
yeah, I think you'd have a good time if you went over there and give us a listen. So yeah, and of course, on Saturdays we have story night, which was a lot of fun this last week. Ginn, you stuck around almost to the end.
I was there for almost 2.5 hours.
You were that close.
I almost made it. I almost made it. I figured out how to do it. Don't say a fucking word.
That's how you do it, huh?
I tried to get him to tell a story, but he just wouldn't take the bait.
No, sir.
So close.
Wouldn't take the bait.
Wouldn't
Got it
take
dialed in now.
He's got
What's
it.
up,
He's
Grant?
got it down.
Wednesday nights, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, Ashman's Basic Art Show. He'll come on. He'll do art for about an hour. And then if you're lucky, if you're really, really lucky, he might bring you up and have a conversation with you for a minute or two. He's going to have to know you, though. So don't just show up thinking you're going to get, he's got to know who you are.
I gotta know you. Yeah,
There's
definitely.
no
Pretty well. And then he still might not let you up because he throws me out. I mean,
It depends.
you never know what's going to happen. That's
If
what
you
makes
mind your
it
P's and
fun.
Q's, you can stay.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Grat. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. We have a whimsical little birdie roaming around in the chat.
Oh my.
If we could please send her up. I'm going to switch them out here, and so that all the hate mail will go to the Ginn Project and not the Ashman. There we go.
Oh,
So we're going to kick off the new thing that we're doing tonight, and we're going to do a panel discussion. Our first person that we asked to come on do a panel discussion with us is KyraWilsonArt. The reason we asked Kyra to come on is because she's smarter than all of us, and she's been in the art business for a few decades, and so has Ashman. I am the least qualified person in the room, though I have done a startup of a small little co-op here locally, and that was a lot of fun, and still have stuff up there. But we are going to say thank you, gentlemen, to Mrs. Kyra WilsonArt for being willing to come on here and do this, have a conversation with us. Those in the chat, we appreciate you joining us. For those that don't know, I'm going to give a few little qualifications here just to get us started. Chad Rev Art actually had an entire Ash career as a rock star, being the front man for bands on a stage in front of from 3 people to, 30,000 people, 10,000, whatever it is, a lot of them. And he had a whole ass career in art, and then he decided to change up and do some other kinds of art, and he does those as well, and he's really good at all of them. So I would imagine he's got some things to say on the subject that might be valuable. Ashman, and I'm sure I missed some stuff. And Ashman also was a front man, plays the guitar, is a musician. He had a career doing that kind of thing, and he also has been a lifelong artist. He works in all the mediums, and I've seen him pick up new mediums in my presence and be a badass at that too. So I tend to listen to what Ashman has to say. He is one of the handful of people on the planet that I believe when he says something, I believe him unequivocally. So is Chad, and so is Kyra. In fact, these are 3 of the people that I rely on the most when I'm trying to figure things out. So hopefully that helps do a little bit. Oh, and I've had a woodworking business for quite a while, and I'm still around. So That's what I'll say for myself. So, Kyra, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It's really kind of you to share your time with us and your expertise, and I can't thank you enough.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Kyra.
Oh yeah.
It's good to see you.
And
So,
if you would like me to change the configuration around, fellas, we can do that. Whatever y'all feel the most comfortable with. I'm sensing Kira's not exactly comfortable just sitting there in the big giant box.
yeah, you make me smaller.
She's like,
Like,
can we,
There we go. How
she's
about
like,
that?
something outside of this
thank
arrangement.
you.
We want our,
Squish me.
we want her to be comfortable. Well, Kyra, thank you for joining us. I know that you have been through a lot in your art journey, and you've seen it all and done it all. And we thought that it might be a good way to start out this segment by doing a bit on galleries and the ins and outs, do's and don'ts, things we've learned over the years. So we'll try to behave ourselves and allow you to take us on a journey.
Well, I mean, approaching galleries, one of the reasons that I thought that this would be a good idea when we all talked about it is that there's a lot of the artist community who is just engaging and discovering how to show and whether or not galleries is the path for them, and defining the different types of galleries there are out there, from co-ops to the higher end, the blue chip to the mainstream, insider, outsider, that kind of thing is probably a good idea. But in particular, the art community is a particularly vulnerable community because you so much want to get your art out there, and that can make you easy prey for scams and frauds and things like that, not to mention just the normal pitfalls that you can come across in the art gallery line of things. So, and given that Ash is old school at showing with galleries and Chad is new to it, and then you worked with co-op stuff, that actually gives you a unique panel perspective on all of this. And I think as somebody who helped put up a co-op, I think you can do a really good job of explaining the difference between a co-op, or what a co-op was for you anyway, and then how that we can kind of contrast. Ash and I can kind of explain how that differs with the gallery. So if that would be a good way to start.
Sure. So my experience was pre-COVID, and a friend of mine that has an antique store had a little building behind the store that was a parking spot for a Model T Ford, and it was this little stone building. We flipped the roof over, built a structure on top of it, and turned it into a little gallery with a workshop on top. And we were going to do lessons, and we were doing videos and stuff like that in the gallery. We built it out of stuff that we tore down from an old house, and stuff that I milled. But we had local artists of all different types in there. And the way that it worked, simply put, was I provided the resources and the labor with Rick, who owns the antique store. So we built the building and the space. So any art or any things that I had in there for sale, we also sold my, still do, my tools that I restore, antiques that I restore, and then some custom stuff that I did. And then we had painters that had art in there, a wire artist, a plasma cutter artist, and some thread artists and stuff like that. So the way the breakdown worked was, if you actively help operate the place, build the place, had skin in the game, we took 10% of whatever your sales were to cover administrative costs. If you were kind of nominally able to help, like maybe you live pretty far away and like once a month you could come by and help out at the shop or at the gallery or whatever, then you were at 15%. Or 20%, depending. And then if you just came by and dropped your art off and we never saw you again until you came to pick up your check, it was 25%. And it worked really well. People were able to participate at the level that they wanted to. Everybody knew exactly how much they were going to be making. And the truth of the matter is, the reason we aren't doing it anymore in the way that we were is COVID hit. And when COVID hit, they had to close for quite a while. And I ended up working with Chad Rev Art, and then later with Ashman and S.A. and Severed and all of them. So we still have that space up there. I still sell stuff up there. I'm just not partnering up with them actually running a gallery and actively trying to seek artists to put in there, just because that's what I've been doing over here. So hopefully that's a brief kind of synopsis. And we had some really nice art in there, but it was definitely not a fine art gallery. It was never meant to be a fine art gallery. The intention was to have a venue locally for artists to put their art in that wasn't 50 to 60%, because I have had communications with a lot of the galleries over the years, and I made a decision not to be in those galleries because they wanted half or 40% or 50%. So the motivation for us to build that space was to have our own place to put stuff like that. Hopefully that's it. That's what I got.
Yeah,
Kyra.
so no, that's good. I want to give some extra information about what standard co-ops look like. So they're not going to be as nice as that. So standard co-op will go up to 50% like a standard gallery, and I'll talk about why in just a second. But your standard co-op is going to ask you to donate your time, however many days per month or whatever, come and you're going to work the counter, you're not going to be paid. And that is the trade-off for the percentage that they take. Average is if you just drop your work, which a lot of them won't even allow you to do that. You have to volunteer time. But say that they do allow you to, then they're going to run it like a standard gallery percentage, which industry standard is somewhere between 60 and 40%, 50 being in the middle of that. And that's not, so if you hear that it's 25% like with you and they walk into a co-op, I don't want them thinking that that's standard. What that was special. So, and the reason, so let me circle back around to the reason why galleries take what they do. It is a situation where it seems like it's not fair, right? They're taking half of what I've made. That doesn't make any sense. And so if you're going to show in a gallery or a co-op or anything like that, you have to price your work with that gallery piece in there and understand what that is. That when you put your piece into a gallery or a co-op, you are paying for their client list, their foot traffic, your positioning there in the gallery and everything, and their interaction, their ability to make the sale go forward, to actually transact the sale, to ship it, to do whatever. You're paying for all these things that if you weren't in the gallery, you would be doing yourself, which means you should be paying for that. So all of these components are things that go into selling a piece of work. Either you do it or the gallery does, so it should be priced accordingly. The gallery does that part of it, then you shouldn't feel bad about giving them that part. Now, if the gallery isn't, and we'll get into this in just a second here, but if the gallery isn't doing any of those things, then they're not worth your money. You shouldn't be showing there. Gallery, co-op, whatever deal you have, if you're giving a piece of it, they better be earning it. And so.
And they're very different beasts. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I belonged to a co-op back in the 1900s, and it was a long time ago. And you have to be willing to give your time. You have to be willing to stay there, hang out, run the register, do everything, clean up, whatever it's going to be for so many days a week, so many hours. Yep. And that's your time put in. And that's part of being a community and being in the co-op. And the thing is, it's an interesting way to get into someplace. It's very interesting, but there's other ways as well, and we're going to go over those as well too later on. But galleries, like you said, as long as they're doing their work, they're amazing. So yeah.
Can I add that in the situation that I was in, or am currently in still, Rick and Shar own an antique store and have for decades. So they had a client list already of collectors and that kind of thing. So the space is small. You can imagine you could park one Model T Ford in it, and then upstairs is a shop. So it's a small space. So the reason it worked for us is they already had a store when it was open. That the little gallery's open when the store's open, and it didn't take a whole lot of extra time for them to spend because it was within the facility anyway. Which a lot of people wouldn't have that advantage. That's why we were able to cap it out at 25%, because we built it into an existing building or an existing operation that had the financials and the space already in place. So when we unwound it, when COVID hit everybody just came and picked up their art. There was nobody that was owed any money or anything, right? Once a month, what would happen is if art sold throughout that month, then Rick would write everything down, and then the artist would come in the following month and get a check. So once a month, you could pick up a check from Antique Antics, and your percentage was all written out. What you sold, what the percentage that we took was, what you got, taxes, all of it. Everything was itemized.
That's beautiful that worked so well, but most co-ops don't work like that at all. They're like kind of gritty.
There's one in Hendon.
But you should know though, whether it's a co-op or a gallery, there are specific rules about handling the money from that.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
whether you're a co-op, whether you're a gallery, if you're representing somebody's art and you make a sale, it's almost every state has this. You would have to look into your particular state laws, but the company, the gallery, co-op takes in the money, say it's $100 sale. That $100 come in, say their cut's 25%. So that $25 they can put in their coffers. They have to hold that $75 separate from anything else. And then they usually have to give it to you within 30 days. It's usually a net 30. So, and that is by law. Anything that moves the money around in a different way is actually illegal. And so if you're thinking of starting a co-op or something with your buddies, just understand that there are very specific legislation and rules around this. And it's important to know that, and it's important to know the rules in your state or the state of where these galleries are, so that you know how things are supposed to be operating. And this will help you kind of keep abreast of any changes or things are becoming unstable or that kind of thing. So
that's a great point. Because they were antique dealers and because they sold art already, they kind of had the infrastructure to be able to set up a separate account and that kind of thing. So yes, that is a fantastic point. Not to mix the money. Yep. As soon as you do that, you're outside the law. You cannot take money for art of an artist and then go pay your rent with it or something like that. You just can't do it.
Right. And it's money that's held separate from the business, and actually using that money differently can open you up to embezzlement or fraud charges, things like that. It's not just misappropriation of funds, and it can actually rise to the level of felony. Yeah, it can rise to the level of a felony pretty easily. So you have to understand what you're getting into when you're going to do something like that. So, and it can cost you a lot, including jail. So you need to watch yourself on that one. And that's something to be aware of too, that when you're dealing with these galleries, artists can be a little overwhelmed because galleries have been built up in their head as this really big thing. And the artists can overlook things or not ask the right questions or not catch that certain things haven't happened. And that's part of the reason we're going to talk tonight, is we're going to talk about the red flags of a situation. Like, you see a gallery, is this something you want to get into? Or when you're going through showing and stuff and things have changed and you're starting to pick up on things, or you're seeing a couple things and you're like, is this okay or not? And then also, like, when you outgrow a gallery or it's a bad fit, like maybe there's nothing wrong with the gallery at all, but you've outgrown it. That's something to be aware of too. And then just some basic important things to know regardless, whether you're looking at a gallery or a co-op or anything. And this is really to protect artists, because there's everybody here who's in the art community has gotten the NFT scams, or we're going to show you in some big gallery that probably doesn't exist in France or something.
And the nice thing is,
I resemble that remark.
I've been in galleries for a long time. I quit for a long time. And some of the red flags that Kyra brought up, some of them were new to me. So if you're like, oh, I think I've heard all this before. No, you haven't. You're going to hear some weird things that were like, oh, wow, that's interesting.
And I won't even hit them all. Like, if something weird pops up and you haven't heard of it before, hit the brakes. You are in control of your art career. And that's something too. If you feel like your art career is not in your control anymore, it's in somebody else's hands, then something's wrong too. That's a huge red flag.
Yes.
And trust your gut. And sometimes you will make mistakes, and that's going to happen too. Sometimes you're going to trust the wrong people, or you're going to go the wrong way, or you're going to ship the art with the wrong shipper or something, and things are going to go wrong. So, but yeah, so that was something that was really important when you were talking about, like, hey, they would pick up their check every month, and that is supposed to be how it works. Also, don't be surprised. It's not a scam. If you're working with a legit gallery and they ask you to fill out, was it the W-4 or something?
1099, yeah.
Well, the 1099, but there was something else too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just filled them out and I don't even remember what I filled out now. But so that's a
W
normal thing because the
two,
gallery has to
W
report.
something.
That's what you get. I think the W-2 is what you get in the mail, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is standard because the gallery is going to report your sales income.
Laura's right. Yeah.
So,
Done
and
before.
if it's in another state, also know that while your nexus is in the state that you're in, if you have a huge amount of sales in another state, you're going to need to talk to a tax professional. It might cross the line of you needing to file taxes in both states. It's a thing. So, just something to be aware of. So yeah, I wish. So part of the reason that I'm sharing this information, Jason, is because this was stuff that I wished I had found too. I started showing with galleries pre-social media. Internet sort of existed. I'm old school internet, but there was nothing on the BBSs about this stuff. So, and you just kind of stumble into everything. So this is sort of a primer for. There's so many artists getting out there, getting their work out there, and getting picked up or getting offers. And if you want to know how to do this, how to watch out for the pitfalls, what to do if you hit them, this is for you. This is
You're
what I wish
gonna
I had
hit
known.
pitfalls. We all do.
Yes.
It's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Yep.
Look, Chad and I'm not even gonna blame Ash on this one. This is Chad and I. Chad and I have been since January 2nd of last year. So however many months that is, 18, 19, 20 months, whatever it is. Been doing this show, and every week we put somebody on. Every week we try to promote somebody. All of those weren't home runs. It turns out a few of those people, if we had a re-rack, we probably wouldn't have them on again. But
yeah.
we also don't have teams of lawyers and researchers and all that kind of stuff. This is social media. We're all adults. So if you aren't sure about something, then Kyra's about to give us some tips and some clues on some things to look for. And a lot of the stuff I wasn't aware of, right? I am new to the art world game too. I'm not all that familiar. I knew a little bit about co-ops because I did a little homework when we were putting one together, but that's the extent of it. So someone like Ashman has been doing this for decades. Kyra has been doing this for decades. Chad has been entertaining people and dealing with the entertainment industry for decades. So truly, there is a damn near a century's worth of knowledge on this panel. So at any rate, is that fair to say, Chad, that we're not always going to get it right?
No, that's definitely true. And I think most of the valuable lessons are when you fall down and have to get up. However, some of those are avoidable. And Kyra's actually helped me personally avoid a few of them. And Kyra has been on multiple times talking about the art industry business. And as long as we continue to get messages and questions, we will continue to bring Kyra back to educate everybody.
With bribes.
With bribes. We won't talk about that part, Kyra. You weren't even supposed to bring that up on here.
My bad. Sorry.
I see.
It involves duckies.
Donkeys. I also want to say too, something that is a universal rule in art that people forget is that art is not supposed to be perfect. You're literally going to make mistakes because that is part of growth. And that's just part of the nature of the beast. Whether you're working with hot metal or you're sculpting or you're painting or you're airbrushing or whatever, stuff goes wrong and you learn from it. Like, hey, I have to use the equipment differently, or the humidity was high, or whatever. There's some things, that just happen that are unavoidable. Some things were, but you kind of see it after the fact and you go, oh, okay. And as with your own art, if you're expecting perfection, you're going to feel like you fail a lot, and you aren't failing when you mess up a piece of work. You're growing, you're developing, you're changing, and you're looking at things from a different perspective. And you have to do that with galleries and stuff too. It is a harsher experience because you have put your heart and soul into a piece. There's money on the line, there's ego on the line, that kind of thing. So I'm going to give you a list of red flags, and you guys could stop me on any of them. And we can, expand. This is in no particular order. I just jotted them down, just the basic ones that I could recall. These are red flags for either when you're looking at a gallery or you're already in one, or a co-op. This applies universally too. And honestly, this goes for shows too. Be careful about the organizers of shows too. There's been a lot of people getting ripped off with cons and things like that.
Yeah.
I'll add, so Jonesy, I want to come back to that about the some sort of insurance. Actually, let me answer that really quick. It depends. It depends on if you're the one showing it. It depends on the rules in your state. A lot of states actually require that the gallery carry insurance to cover the pieces that are in there. Some galleries aren't able to get that kind of insurance because they can't show a history of sales. As an artist myself, I had to establish sales price for my work for my home insurance to, obviously it's canvas and paint. But now I'm selling these for $3,000. Okay, we can insure this unsold piece that's been completed and shown, and it's clearly that it existed. If my house burned down, I could claim that. So it depends on what the gallery has to work out with its own level of sales and what their presence and ability to say that things really existed. There's a lot of fraud in insurance as well, especially with art. So that's something to have a conversation with the gallery or the show or whatever you're working with. If you're going to be in an art fair, you have to have insurance on your own booth. Usually a lot of those fairs will require that just for safety if somebody trips and, liability kind of thing. But on your own work, that's a different kind of scenario. And I know that's a little not a straightforward answer, but that's the best I can give you because it's complicated and it's going to vary based on your own circumstances in that one. That will come up though. That is something to think about when you're looking at a co-op or a gallery. Are they insured? What are the rules in the state? Are they trying to put in the contract that they don't have to have insurance when they actually do? That's a red flag if they're contradicting the state laws. They can't do that. If you have anything in a contract that contradicts the state laws, that part of the contract is already considered void legally.
Can you repeat that, please, Kyra, just to make sure folks get that?
If there are rules in your state, say that it's required by law that the gallery carry insurance on the artwork itself, like whatever they're going to show, the gallery has to carry that insurance, and the gallery gives you a contract to show there, and they put in the contract that they're not going to carry insurance on your work, so you better deal with it or you're accepting the liability or whatever. They can't do that. They can't circumvent the law with a contract that you agree to. You can't sign away your rights like that. It's not that simple. Do be careful what you sign though, and pay attention to the contracts because that can pop up a whole bunch of red flags. A lot of red flags can be found in contracts. So does that make sense or?
Yes, thank you. Yes, yeah. I just wanted to make repetition is good.
Yeah, know the state that you sell the artwork in, understand your rights, understand if anything starts to feel contradictory or you start to feel like you're arguing and you're arguing on the side of the laws that you've read, which you can find on whichever state you're going to show, and you can go to make sure it's a .gov site and not some AI baloney that's been put up, because it's not just a law firm could summarize with AI and it might not be correct. Find the .gov, you can find the actual legislature files in the PDF, and you can Control F and find art in it, and you should be able to see your state laws. So red flags in general, like I said, not in any particular order. If they're super arrogant and they don't have a reason, like they're telling you that they're just the best thing since ever, and they're not, camped out in the Hamptons making millions of dollars a year, and it doesn't make sense that they're that big, they're too big for their britches, so to speak. That's usually a red flag because you got a lot of big talking going on, but not necessarily the reason to back it up with. And so that's usually a red flag because that means that they probably are overselling and not doing the actual work that they need to do as a gallery. So it's this one's just a red flag. It's like, do more work, do some research, dig on them on social media, see what you can find. A lot of the ones that come off really arrogant, like, I'm so awesome, you're so lucky to be talking to me. You don't want to be treated that way anyway. And you got to kind of wonder how they talk to the customers. So that is, this is somebody you are hiring. I make this really clear. You are hiring a gallery to represent you. So that is part of that money that you are giving to them when they sell your work. You are hiring them to represent you. A gallery is not the end all be all placement for artwork. It is one path. You can sell your art yourself. You can go through art fairs. There's so many different paths. It is one sales channel. It is a good one that works for a certain type of art, looking for a certain type of market. That is not 50% of artists. That's 20%. And then the other 80% can be extraordinarily successful without any of that. So make sure that it's right for you, and then make sure that the gallery makes sense, in that way. That they're not over arrogant, that they can kind of back up what they're talking about. Look out for excess fees. So this is a big scam that's going on right now, where they're saying, hey, for $20, $50, whatever, you can submit your portfolio for consideration into the gallery. That's not normal. The pay to play is not normal. And then there's ones where they're like, you can pay us for the wall space, and then we'll still take a percentage of your, we'll take the commission fee. That's also not normal. The dual dipping there is not a normal thing. And I've seen one that was all three. They're like, it's going to cost you $20 to submit your portfolio. You get in, it's going to cost you $500 for the wall, and we take 50%.
Wow.
Yeah. And people.
Wow.
That's a pretty good gig if you can get it. You don't have to do much.
That's the music industry's cousin right there, I swear.
Right?
And it's not illegal, because you're fine paying the percentage or the money to be reviewed, and then okay, sure, renting the wall makes sense. I'll fit 4 pieces on there or whatever, and then yeah, commission's normal, right? And it sounds normal, but it's not. And I think normalizing these predatory galleries is important to not do. Instead, to get the word out that, like, hey, industry standards does not include this. Don't do this, because it's taking advantage of you. What are you left with at that point? Do understand that galleries take different percentages too.
I think that's the great thing about this right now is we're telling younger artists how to maneuver through this stuff because we've gotten dinged, or we've seen other people get dinged. And yeah, the overpricing for everything to get in. And it sounds exciting because I'm going to get your stuff in front of a lot of people. I got people coming through all the time. If you just pay this minimal fee, and then another minimal fee, and then another minimal fee, and then what work are they really putting in for you? And especially if just drop by the gallery, see how they operate, just check it out first. Get a good boots on the ground kind of thing, And I used to go to Scottsdale and go to galleries, and they're, you see how they operate differently. And they all have, some of them were fly-by-nights, and some of them had been there forever. And so use your gut when you go into these places too. If you feel like something's up, like Kyra said, do your homework, and you'll probably find something. So
yeah.
Can I just add? I've heard the opposite too. What I mean by that is when we were setting up the little thing that we were doing here, Rick pointed out you've got to charge something. Because initially we were talking about not charging anything for certain artists that were local to the spot and were willing to help out or whatever. But ultimately he's like, no, you got to charge something. And this was more of a philosophical thing for him. But he was a businessman. He's been in business his whole life. It was business philosophy. But he said, you've got to charge something. And for some people, it just helps them value it. Like if they, if they didn't have any skin at all in the game, then they're not as invested, was his point. So the reason for taking at least 10%, even for me, and I built the building, was it was an ongoing commitment. So is there like a trade-off there? If you go to a gallery and it's all promises of we're not going to charge anything, everything's going to be for free, I'm going to take care of all of that, that to me might be a warning sign too, right?
Well, yeah, that sounds like a scam. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Whether they're intending it to be a con or it's just somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Either way,
that's what it sounded
that's
like
a warning.
to me. Somebody doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they just opened it or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so there's, I
Gotcha.
mean, yeah, so there's, I mean, a couple of the things on the list will kind of fit into that too. Um,
Sorry, I
I think
jumped the gun.
no. It's like I'm just kind of looking through my list. Like, you got to watch out for the ones that offer like a little stipend, like, hey, I'm gonna front you $500 and I'm sure I can sell these paintings. I'm gonna front you $500. I want you to do six of them for me. And they give you that money, so you get the $600 or whatever, but say that each one of your paintings was going to go for $1,000, and that's what they're telling you they're going to do or whatever. They come and take possession of the paintings, and then you might not see them again or hear from them or whatever, and they're going to like be like, hey, I paid you, we're good. Doesn't matter what they sell, they could sell it for $10,000 a piece and whatever, and you won't see any of it. So be careful. There are legal stipends, in particular those are grant work. You'll get those through like the city and stuff like that, and that's a whole other show. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just somebody offering a stipend for art, and often that is a scam that they're going to turn around. They probably can sell it for a lot more money than what you're going to end up with $600. You think, I mean, that would be very little from your six paintings, and you think you're going to get way more than that, but they've paid you something. They've taken possession of the work, and it doesn't matter what they sell it for. You've got nothing from them. So that is a scam that happens too. So there's actual money that changes hands, but that's something to be aware of. It's just one of those things. It's if it sounds too good to be true. I mean, and part of the problem with artists is that we're dreamers and we want to believe in the good things happening, and that's how we get
Mm-hmm.
taken advantage of too. So
Yeah.
it's gonna happen to you. It's just that maybe some of these things will help you see a red flag as it occurs, and you can get out of the way before the train wreck. So that's it does come down to money frequently. It's not
It,
always about money, but
I know it's iffy what a gallery is, and you'll probably cover this later. I'm just curious as to what percentage of galleries don't make it, say, 2 years.
oh, most of them,
Yeah,
most
it's kind of
galleries
like
go
a
under.
restaurant, right? They opened
Yeah.
and
I,
then they're gone.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, and that comes down to that's just standard business stuff, right? So a lot of gallery people don't understand. As with anything, you've got to understand business. And you need to know what you're doing. You have to have business acumen. You need to understand the laws and the regulations, and you need to understand your market, and you need to understand where the placement is of your place, where the gallery is. And even if everything is 100% on, like, your stuff, you've put it in the perfect place, all this stuff, it can still go wrong. It could just not hit where you're at, and you did all the market research and it should have, but it just didn't. Or COVID happens and they're all
Yeah,
gone.
I
Right.
saw a big gallery called the Bentley Gallery out here. It's always been here, and COVID kind of took it out, and it never recovered. And that was like a staple. You kind of assumed it was going to survive, and it didn't. So these
Yeah,
things happen.
COVID took a lot of them out.
Yeah.
So worldwide, it took a lot of them out. I had a friend who runs a gallery in the UK, and she was able to continue it online, and she's continuing to do that. But it used to be brick and mortar. So, and I still show with them. Um, they're still doing okay, but it's all online now because trying to resurrect a brick and mortar gallery is hard after COVID.
Oh yeah.
So,
Ugh.
but yeah, it's just, and a lot of people, a lot of artists ended up, and I'll get to this in a minute too, it's on my list too, but a lot of artists ended up with their work held hostage because these galleries went under left and right. And so that's a risk you're taking too. And that is something that will probably involve lawyers. So this is something to also be aware of wherever you're showing. What is the legal rules around your art? In most cases, that art is not considered the company, the gallery's property. It's still your work. And so if the company, the gallery goes under, the creditors come in and seize everything, right? But they can't seize your work because it's yours. It's not the galleries. They can't use your work to pay off the gallery's debts because
Yeah.
those things are separate. But again, you need to know what the legal rules are in your country, state, wherever it is that you're showing. It's different in different countries, just so you're aware. The rules are different in Spain and Portugal than they are in England, than they are in Mexico than they are here in Canada and stuff like that. And it's just, if you're going to be doing stuff, and state to state, they can vary a little bit. Generally, they all kind of follow the same line. Some states have some extra rules, but that's just part of it. And it may require lawyers to come in and separate your work from the assets that the company has. So, and that's happened to many of my friends. So
Yeah.
that's a whole different thing, because when creditors grab everything, then you have to unfreeze assets. So, but
Even
um,
if you get it back at that point, you've gone through an insane amount of trouble.
yep.
Uh,
Yeah, you have to decide if you're going to take, in any of these instances, if you're going to take legal action. Is it worth taking legal action? Is it someplace that you're going to get your work back, or will you get your money back, or whatever it is that you need to be made whole? Is that even on the table, or is it on principle now, or is it just worth walking away from because the whole thing's hopeless? So, and that only each person can answer that. Every single one of these instances will be, individualized and different, and circumstances are what they are. So,
And mixed in are decent people who are actually trying to do the right thing and just fail at it.
yeah.
You've got the whole spectrum. You've got bad actors, and then you've got the good actors who just aren't able to pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah, and that happens, and you do have scam artists and people who are frauds and things like that, and that's different than the person who tries to honestly do something and then it just fails. And there's people when they fail handle it with grace, or they don't. And some of them are really good with communication, or they aren't, and um it's just as many different types of people involved in this particular instances, that happen. So, but so that was where we segued off sideways to excess fees. Lackadaisical rules are also a problem. If the gallery doesn't seem to have any rules, that's a red flag. You need to have a very clear idea of what's expected of you, what the gallery's requirements are, things like that, that they understand their responsibilities. So if there's a lackadaisical kind of approach, that they're very laid back about everything and they're kind of vague about what the rules are, that's a problem. So
Trust, but
that's,
always have it in writing.
yeah, always have it in writing. Oops. Big promises, like, hey, it's a startup thing and we're going to sell, we've just opened this place, but we can sell 100 of your paintings, no problem. If they're over promising, that's a red flag, especially for a startup. And honestly, any seasoned gallery owner is not going to approach somebody and go, I can sell 1,000 of your paintings, I got you covered. They know better than to do that, because you can't predict the art market that way. They can say, I can represent you really well. I can show you, to my client list. I can market you this. I know how, because this is how I do it. Your work fits in with me because of this. And that sounds great. But if they're like, I can sell everything, I've got you covered, I will be your one and only, this kind of thing, run, run fast. That is bad. So, exclusive agency, this dovetails right into that. If they want exclusive rights to you, so in an artist's career, it can happen that an agency, an agent, or so I know a lot of people don't deal with agents and stuff like that, but it might come up at some point. An agent or the gallery saying that they want to be exclusive rep for you. That is, you have to ask yourself, is that something that makes sense? Like, hey, I'm only selling a little bit. Why would they want to be my exclusive, agent? That kind of thing. Why would the gallery want to be my exclusive rep? If you were like, selling hundreds of thousands of dollars kind of stuff, then an exclusive agency is kind of nice, because they just show up, pick up the paintings, and you're like, leave me alone. Just pay me and leave me alone. I'm working. But that's rare. That's the Cinderella story, unicorn kind of stuff. That just doesn't happen. So if they're asking that, it probably doesn't make sense. Ask questions, figure out why. With that, sometimes they try and sneak in commission for work after. So there's a couple. This is the part of the stuff that they sneak in legally, but it's really scammy. If they're asking for commission cut of your work after it's returned to you, say it's in their show, it doesn't sell, it's been there for 6 months, they return the work to you, but you sell it like a year later, and they're like, well, we take half of that because it's sold. or any of your work that isn't even with them.
Like,
Yeah. So, but that
I
is
swear,
Oh,
our
that's
music
some gall
industry,
right there, boy. Woo!
they're just like this. I swear to you.
I mean, there are ones that will try. They will try and take, hey, if you show with us, anything you sell in the next 6 months, even if it's nothing you showed with us, we want 20% of that. Not, we won't take our normal 50, but we'll take 20. You know, that doesn't make sense, but they will try it. And you need
Right,
to watch
Burnham?
what you're signing. Don't just sign something. Read everything. Read everything and make sure that things are in there that are supposed to be and things aren't in there that shouldn't be. And instead of arguing about the stuff that isn't in there, probably your best bet is if they've snuck that in there, is just to bail. Just don't sign it, walk away. There will be another opportunity. So, yeah, so being told also, we're not exclusive, but I don't want you to show with any other gallery. Don't show with any other gallery around here. Now, some of them do have a radius thing, like, hey, if we're carrying your line, please don't show in the same city. So, like, I'm in Vermont. So, if I was showing in Burlington, a gallery up there could say, could you please not hit anything in Burlington, but anything outside of like a 30-mile radius is cool. That's normal. If they're saying don't show with anybody while you're showing up, you know, your stuff's in my gallery, you can't show with anybody, any other gallery at all, that's not okay. So that's a red flag also. And that's one that people don't necessarily catch because they're like, sure, no problem. But no, it's not okay. That's a red flag. Even if it's okay for you right now because you only want to show with that one. The problem is that you're working with a gallery that's asking for things that they shouldn't be asking for. And that's probably not going to end there. So.
And they're preying. Here's the thing that pisses me off about it is they're preying on. Oftentimes, it's people who are trying to make it. They don't know the business. They don't know any different. They're trying to do things the right way. They're trying to be smart about how they're moving. But there are so different many ways to get scammed or to kind of at least lose your edge, at least lose the competitive advantage that you might have as an artist at a minimum.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because it's that's who it's, you know, yes, the veterans get it too, obviously, but it seems that the most susceptible people are going to be the people kind of newer to the game. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say. I also think it's fair to say that there are people getting into the gallery game who've just seen some of these predatory galleries and don't realize that that's not okay too. They just are like, you know, this town could really use an art gallery, and they get bad advice or they see a bad example and they think, oh, that's normal, which makes it look even more enticing because it's allowing them to take even more money in and that kind of thing. And they don't understand how it is disadvantageous to artists. And it's another
Gotcha.
reason why some galleries fail is that they don't totally understand that anybody who's got some, you know, skin in the game who's been here a little while is going to be like, yeah, I'm not showing with that gallery. Are you kidding? You know, so there's, I think that new gallery owners can be victims too if they don't understand what they've seen. If they, you know, if they've only seen these galleries that offer predatory practices, they might not do their research and realize that it's not that way. So, and it's important to not say, well, things change. Well, okay, but you still have to make it so both parties are fair and whole. And so if you feel like you're in a situation where the gallery owner is like this and you're, you know, on the wrong side of the receiving end, then that's a bad relationship. And then you can either try and have a light conversation with them and see if they'll change that overall for everybody, not just you, or if they're set and that's what they want to do. And if that's what they're set on, then bye, you know.
Yeah.
So.
You know, an artist just joined us in the chat, Samantha, the starving artist, we call her S.A., who just had has a gallery show going on right now as we speak. And we got to go to that event, to the opening of that event, to that show. And I've been to that gallery a few times. I've had the opportunity to talk to that gallery owner a few times. And I had the opportunity with Chad to sit and talk with S.A. kind of after the event and hear her thoughts on what the gallery had done and not done and all of those kind of things. Because S.A. is someone that is on point. She does her homework. She's knowledgeable. She works really hard. She did all the things. She had gift packages and interactive stuff to do. And I mean, she did the whole damn thing. But I would argue that if she hadn't done her part, it wouldn't have been the show that it was. Do you think, fellas? Even though it was
I
a
think you're
whole
right.
solo show, if
Yeah.
SA wouldn't have showed up being SA with all the stuff
Yeah.
that she brought, it would have been a whole different vibe to the thing, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. The artist does bring itself to the party. If you don't, you're not fulfilling your part anyway. So, yeah, I agree with that.
So she is an example of how to get down, in my opinion. Because the most important thing is right after the show, she's sitting there analyzing what went well, what didn't go well, what could we do better, what I screwed up and didn't interview her husband.
Oh no.
But he's not a TikToker, so I didn't think I was supposed to. In my defense, it was very dark. But
Yeah.
at any rate, just on a lighter note, I did want to point out that it is possible. SA is setting the standard. It is possible. So don't be completely discouraged. This all sounds so negative, but it's treacherous waters to navigate, and we watched our friend navigate them last weekend. And had she not done extra, I'm not sure it would have gone as well, because
And you're
galleries
going to find varying level. You're going to find a
they
varying
don't
level
always
of
do all of it.
engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to, that's something that you should find out in advance if you're going to do a solo show somewhere or a group show or whatever, ask, they're going to have an opening night. What does that mean? How do you see that going? What are their plans? And sometimes galleries are like, we've got this. We don't need that, to have that conversation with you. And then sometimes they really do want to have that conversation. Yes, you could do a lot. Like co-ops, that's practically a potluck kind of opening.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's bringing, brownies and stew and
very
stuff like
bohemian.
that. Yeah, and then I've been to other openings where you're literally walking around with a glass of champagne and there's waiters going by with little hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. And the artist has nothing to do with that. The artist just shows up. And so there
Were
is
you
a
wearing your wedding
spectrum.
dress? Were you wearing your wedding dress when that was going down?
Sir.
I know that was one of your shows where hors d'oeuvres were being served.
It was not, but it was a very cool
Just
show.
teasing y'all. Just a
I've
little
had
comic
various
relief.
shows like that myself,
Sorry,
where
Chad.
I come prepared and I bring everything. And then I've had other shows like the Monarchid show where the guy was like, just show up, we'll have everything ready for you. And though they are very different, but and you're very lucky to get into something like that. But the thing is, I sold more at the coffee houses and the other galleries than I did at the big gallery. So
it depends on who's there and whether your art is for that market.
Exactly.
And so and it's a learning experience too.
Yeah.
My first show, I just showed up. They did have wine and hors d'oeuvres, and the mayor was there, and I hid in a potted plant. That's a whole other story. It's a whole other thing.
I gotta
It's
hear
not on
that later.
purpose.
I gotta hear that later.
It's not on purpose. But
The mayor was there.
look, it was 25 years ago.
God.
Give me a break.
Okay.
So,
I hit in a potted plant.
it wasn't on purpose. I am actually, I know I can talk okay on live here, but I am extraordinarily shy and introverted, and it is difficult for me. And so to suddenly be in a room, I don't mind my art being the focus of attention. I mind me being the focus of attention. I have no desire for people to be looking at me. That's why I'm glad you shrunk the box down. I'm pretty good hanging out behind the plants. But anyway, we can talk about etiquette and how you're supposed to handle yourself at a show at a different time. I know not to do that now, and I didn't do it on purpose the first time. But regardless, I'm a
And
little
don't
more
wear a
seasoned
wedding
now.
dress, right?
Right. I'm a little more seasoned now. It's been a couple decades, so I can handle myself more appropriately. It was a nice ficus. Leave me alone.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Made many a friend out of a plant.
Yeah, well, it was a nice ficus. He was very nice. So there are Just because you're in a certain gallery doesn't mean you're going to sell a certain amount. And just because they're in a co-op doesn't mean you're not going to sell everything. And that comes down to a whole different sales strategy and knowing your art. And that's probably too much to even get into tonight. If people are interested in that, I can definitely come back at some time if they let you know, and we can talk about where your art should be and, how to price and how to approach your market, how to find your market. We can do that, but I will run out of my voice if I do that.
And they can see some of your previous interviews and get some of that information. It's over on the Y Tubes.
Yeah.
You can go over there. There's a couple Kyra interviews over there, and they're all very informative.
I popped by a couple times. So, all right, where were we?
S.A. Just showed us how, as an artist, to approach, keep being professional, trying to dot all the T's and cross all the I's. And I'm just stalling right now for you to get to your next point.
Yeah, no, essay was a really good example. Her art show was beautiful, and it's still going, and people can still stop by in Marietta. Is that where it is?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and it's going to be
Art
running
Soul and Art
through
Gallery.
when?
It's going through the 18th of September.
Okay, yeah. So on average, an art show will run for about a month. Sometimes they run a little longer. Sometimes they can run a little shorter, but that's usually a pop-up, and that's different. And that's, she found a really good place to market her work, and I think that her work was, so that's important. You got to find a place where your work makes sense.
Yeah.
And her work makes sense there. She had a very cohesive display, and that's an amazing turnout and everything, and it was beautiful. I did not get to go in person, but I stalked the lives. So
This may be a little off the subject here, but something else that she did that I was really impressed with, especially when I got to talk to Stephanie. S.A. partnered with Caring Works, a nonprofit organization, and Caring Works came and set up and did and talked at the event and did an interview with us, and they are a fantastic organization. So
yeah, and
I don't
that's
know.
a very special marketing strategy. And that works that's a marketing strategy that not everybody can pick up, because that's not what's close to their heart. That's what's close to her heart. So that is part of being authentic as an artist. That's another thing we can touch on another time, but that's about being authentic as an artist.
She is that.
And yeah, and impacting the world the way you want to impact the world, and having your show impact the way you want your show to impact. So some artists could benefit from a strategy like that, not all. And probably actually not many. S.A. has a very specialized corner of her art world, and she's done a really good job of cultivating exactly what that means to her and what she wants to do with it. And that's what she did. And it's a process of execution that makes it go even further. So
saying that word with her name in the same sentence now makes sense to me, right, Chad? Execution and essay.
Yeah, she will stick you.
Little jab at essay. That's all.
So with that in mind, though, one of the red flags is if a gallery doesn't tell you how they plan to market your work. That's a huge red flag. If they don't know how they're going to bring you to people, if they don't have a strategy for you at all, that they don't know what they're doing, and that's not going to work for you. So if they try and keep you away from the collectors who want to buy your work and want to reach out to you and contact you about maybe a commission, or they're interested in more of your work or something, and they're trying to not tell you anything about who's bought your piece or let you talk to anybody, there's a balance. You cannot undercut the gallery. You cannot sneak around and try and sell behind their back, kind of stuff. You can't say, oh, I'll sell that piece that's in the gallery to you for less money if you just go through me. You can't do that kind of stuff. A good gallery relationship will sell your piece and also let that collector know how to contact you, how to see more of your work, that kind of thing. They facilitate the relationship, and that is a symbiotic relationship so that you will keep selling with the gallery as well. So a gallery is not a single destination for an artist, except in extreme circumstances. It's just a sales channel for you.
We could do a whole show on things that artists shouldn't do as well.
Yep.
It occurs to me.
That's called one of my lives.
No, bro, I wasn't calling you out or nothing like that. But
I see.
well, I've seen artists with work in galleries and then go and sell something and kind of cut the gallery out of the equation, and that's wrong too. Doing it in the other
Yeah.
direction. If the gallery is acting in good faith, and then the artist
Yep.
is using the gallery for advertisement, and then doesn't give the gallery a cut when they sell stuff, that can be shady as well. I think.
As long
Not
as
that I'm
it's
defending galleries. I'm just saying that
no, there's it's
artists can be shady too.
yeah. Yes, yeah, but that's another reason why people need to understand that they have to price their work at gallery level prices so that when the gallery earns their part of it, they've earned their part and you don't have a problem paying that. Like if you have somebody come in and cook dinner for you, you don't have a problem paying for them to cook dinner for you because you didn't have to cook dinner. I've never done that, but it's what you do. And
I was
so
about to
with
ask you
your
if you were
art,
wearing a wedding dress.
no, sir. I believe it was you who was working in white the other day, not me.
You're right. You're right. You got me. You're right. I'm busted. I'm busted. I'm busted.
Sir.
Sir.
So and with that, you need to have mutual respect. So you don't if a gallery sells your work and then that collector then contacts you for another piece, you don't owe the gallery a percentage of that. So you just owe them the percentage of the work that they sold in the gallery. And the gallery should honor that relationship, and then you're going to want to show more with the gallery because it reaches more people and stuff, so there's a balanced relationship. If it's ever imbalanced one way or the other, you need to ask yourself why, including if it's overweighted towards you, because that doesn't make sense either. A gallery has to function.
Yeah.
So you have to do both. If they have no contract or it's a boilerplate contract, which means that it's something that they've downloaded a template and just slapped their logo on, that's a red flag because it means that they probably didn't do any research on what the laws are or what, requirements there are to sell and what things that they need to be a sustainable business is. So it's a red flag that they don't understand their business and you don't want to do business with them at that point either. So that's a big red flag. There is a scam where you send your work into a gallery, you told them it's a $300 painting, and they say cool, and you've signed your contracts and everything, and they turn around and sell it for like $800, but they only give you your 50% of that $300 painting, so you've made $150 and they keep all the rest. So that's a scam that they will do. But granted, you have to be careful. You should be doing your research and paying attention and watch your work in the gallery. And I'm not saying a lot of galleries do it, but it's happened. So that's one of them. If they want to discount, so some galleries will do sales. I do not offer sales on my work. So this is one of those things where I won't work with galleries that discount my work either. And they should always ask you whether or not they can discount your work and whether or not you agree to that. That should always be split. Like say you're going to lower it 25%, then 12.5% needs to come off of your take and 12.5% needs to come off of their take. If they're making you shoulder it, that's not okay. Sometimes the gallery will be nice enough to shoulder the whole discount. It's pretty rare though. But if they're shouldering it onto you, then that's a huge red flag. Get out of there, get your work back, go away, So if they speak poorly about other artists, if they're talking to you and they're like, yeah, I've been working with these guys and they stink, all this stuff, or they're whatever. If they're trash talking artists, it's the same thing with friends. If they're talking poorly about you, how are they going to talk about you? If they're talking poorly about a friend, how are they going to talk about you when you're not around? I took me a minute. So it's the same thing. And at the same time, if you're an artist and you're trash talking galleries, if I'm a nice gallery and I'm looking at you and I'm seeing you trash talking galleries or other artists, do you think I'm going to want to work with you? So you're looking for somebody that can properly represent and comport themselves like a responsible grown-up adult. So
you mean you wouldn't want to work with people that talk shit about you?
Not particularly, but I'm here anyway.
This is like, here I am.
And she hits it out of the park, ladies and gentlemen. Kyra Wilson's running first. She's headed to second. She's on the way to third. It is a home run. Oh, you're amazing, kid. I'm glad you got a sense of humor.
I try. There's no plant to hide in right now, so let's see. If they don't know how to handle your art, that's a problem too. Improper handling and shipping of your art. And this is something you need to learn too as an artist. You need to know how to ship your art. You need to ship it like you're shipping your firstborn. So there are people that will ship art. They'll throw it in a box and be like, it'll get there. It'll be fine. No, it needs to be protected. You need to ship it like somebody's going to jump on top of it. Like those old commercials where they had like a gorilla jumping on the suitcases or whatever. You have to package it like it's going to just have the daylights knocked out of it. And if you're not packaging it that way,
you stick bubble wrap right against the painting too, right?
No. Oh
Yes,
my God, please don't do that.
absolutely, so that it peels off.
Oh.
That way you've got a
Okay.
copy of the painting. That way when you take the bubble wrap off, you now have two
Time
paintings.
out.
It's
Okay,
best.
I think
fine.
we just
Don't put a
gave
duct
I think
tape
we
layer.
just gave her a seizure.
Oh my God.
Just duct tape over it,
okay.
yeah.
So this
I
this
needed
is
to
a
protect
huge PSA for every single artist out there. I don't care if you're working in metal. I don't care if you're doing clay, if you're doing painting, wood. Bubble wrap outgasses. You cannot predict when it's going to do that, and it permanently damages everything. It'll ruin varnishes, it'll ruin stain, it'll ruin metalwork, it'll ruin paintings, and you can't fix it. So please, for the love of everything, stop using bubble wrap. You can use it as an outside layer, but you need an inside layer. Like I use a cellophane. There's a special kind of, not just any
Yes,
paper, because
not just
that'll
any
stick
paper.
too.
No, yeah.
There's art paper. It's sort of a
Yes.
wax paper.
So like saran wrap, wrap it in saran wrap that you have like up under your oven.
I am
Is that
coming
what you're
for you,
saying?
sir.
So don't do that.
No. No.
I'm in so much trouble, y'all.
Oh, yes, glassine paper. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, that's it.
Tinfoil. Burn them. All y'all are on the list. So,
Fur.
Fur.
Lenny said fur.
And she wrapped it in a rabbit's pelt.
I'm leaving.
She put it in a muskrat.
I'm out.
She trapped a muskrat and sewed a pouch out of it.
Oh, good grief.
It's
No
really-
bubble wrap. I don't want to see any more bubble wrap against people's actual artwork.
No
No.
saran wrap either, y'all.
No.
No aluminum foil.
If you
No
have
duct
aluminum
tape.
foil,
No
make sure
more.
you crumble it up first and then put it in front of the oil painting.
Don't
Crumbled
use
up in balls.
You're
newspapers.
gonna give me a stroke.
SOS pads, maybe?
Yeah, if you need something to Google what he's talking about, and Laura put it in the chat, glassine paper. Glassine paper can work. I use a cellophane. I really like cellophane. I've had really good luck with it. Again, if it's the cheap knockoff stuff, you're gonna need to watch out for outguessing again. So make sure you're getting the real stuff because there's plenty of knockoff. But yeah, no, ship your stuff like it's important because it's important to you, and make sure the gallery handles it with the same level of importance, and that if they don't know how to handle the artwork correctly, if they're shipping it wrong, if you get it back and it's in worse condition than when you sent it, that's all a red flag. You don't want to work with a gallery that doesn't understand how to handle the product. So, and it's, these are your art babies and you want them treated well. So
No
I
bubble
have
wrap.
gone into a gallery and taken my artwork off the walls because they were not treating my artwork well.
yep.
I had to repair 3 or 4 pieces when I got back home. And that guy was a little scared of me at that point, but I got my stuff back home. That's all I can say.
I had a hole put
got
through
it.
one of mine. Yeah.
I did too. I
Yeah.
did too. Yeah, it was
And
ridiculous.
that one I couldn't save. I was like, it's just a
Yeah.
loss.
No.
So, but
At a
let's see here.
gallery? They poked a hole in your art at a gallery.
It was the cleaning staff, and it was an accident, but the mop still went through the handle. The handle apparently fell, and And
They
accidents
threw.
happen, and you kind of you deal with it,
Mine
and you
was
have
worse.
that.
They threw a party.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, yeah, and
That's just disrespectful if they're
it
gonna.
was. Yep, I had red wine on one, all kinds of stuff. Yep,
Oh,
Yeah,
very angry.
oh.
I'm
that
getting angry thinking about it right
I
now.
see.
Did they reach out to you immediately when
Cool,
that
man. Be
happened,
cool.
Ash?
Oh, they paid me back.
did they?
Oh yeah,
That's good. A lot of galleries when they make a mistake like that won't. So
yeah.
and then you get into the whether or not they had insurance, and it's a whole thing. Um, Galleries that tell you what to
Which,
create. Is that my
Which
signal to
which.
ditch here?
He's playing you off.
It's like the Oscars. It's time to go.
Oh my
Is the big hook
god.
gonna come out and pull me?
No way.
If
No
it,
way.
yeah. Well, let's see if I can speed this up. If a gallery tells you what to create, then they're not paying attention to you as an artist, and they don't know how to market you effectively. So that's a big red flag. It doesn't make them a bad gallery; it's just the wrong fit. Um, it could make them a bad gallery too, but for the most part, we'll just go and assume it's the wrong fit. Um, they have surprise clauses in your contract, so you thought you were on one level, and you get your contract and you read through, and it suddenly has this extra stuff added that you weren't aware of. That's a big
Surprise,
red flag because
surprise.
so
Can you
really
give a
read
couple
everything.
examples? Can you give a couple just small examples of stuff like that? Like maybe they add a clause in, like you were talking about earlier, right? That they're going to take a percentage of your art, a cut of your other artwork that isn't even in the gallery or something like that.
Yeah, or exclusivity, or if just something, like, hey, we expect you to reimburse us for the wall space you had. I mean, it could just be weird stuff. If it's something that, like, it was honestly overlooked, that's one thing. But if it's something that benefits the gallery that you didn't discuss and didn't agree to, and suddenly it's there, you can have that conversation, but that's a red flag. That should be like, I, that seems like that was something that should have been brought up to me as one of the things they were going to require. And that's when you kind of like, what am I dealing with here? So that's a red flag, and back away from it. Um,
Laura made a great point. Get a copy of the contract and look it over at home. Yes,
yep.
look at
And if you don't
everything.
understand it, take it to somebody who can help you.
Yeah,
And if they don't want to give you
So
time to look over the contract, then you don't want to sign a contract with them.
exactly.
it doesn't matter if you're buying a car or a house or showing your art. If
Whatever
they won't
it
give you the
is.
time at the contract, bail. Yep.
That's a flag.
Yep.
I know
After you get done
that.
reading it, after you get done reading it, read it again,
Yep.
and then one more time for good measure.
If the artist community is saying bad things about it, then pay attention. So artists talk and gallery owners talk. So if you hear a bad vibe about something, pay attention. If it's just one person, it might just be sour grapes. But if it's multiple people, or even that one person, say you really trust them and you're like, this sounded really bad, or something went wrong, pay attention to what went wrong. I mean, you use your critical thinking skills. Is this somebody who's just frustrated and it's kind of their fault kind of thing? Or is this like, hey, this gallery's bad news? Even if they're willing to show your work, it's not worth it if they're bad news, because if you show your work and then something goes wrong, there's not a lot of recourse, and that's a problem. So,
Well, that's another thing. You pointed out something when we were talking, and I think it's maybe related to what you're talking about now. That they would there was a way for people to manipulate the pricing, like give a window or something for pricing. I may be misunderstanding something you were talking about the other day, but
when I was talking about, like, I agreed to sell my painting I'm telling the gallery that it's $300, and they're like, yeah, sure. And then they sell it for like 500, but they don't tell you that they've sold it for that, and they keep all of their part,
yeah,
the
you were
extra
talking about that
part.
earlier. What is that called, other than fraud?
It's
BS.
fraud. It isn't being a not good person.
Gotcha,
I
gotcha.
am censoring myself.
Yes, 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 yes.
No, it's unscrupulous behavior, and it's not necessarily illegal behavior. It should be. And again, you got to watch your contract clauses. If there's something in there that says that they can sell your art for whatever they want, they can discount it without asking you, or they can sell it for more without asking you and pocket the difference because you didn't see that. So I have not seen that personally. I have had friends affected by it. So it is out there. It's not common because usually artists stock their own work. And if they see that it's listed for more money than that, they might, pick up on that and be like, hey, what's going on?
We
Do
check
you have
in
more
on our
money to give
babies.
me? Yeah, you kind of follow your work. Um, you want to make sure that the gallery isn't showing AI or non-original work. So this one's interesting because I've gotten into some interesting fights with galleries. so,
That's a
so
new one for
before,
me.
well, so maybe not though. So let me tell you my old fight I
Okay.
got in with a gallery. The guy was printing out on canvas, like a canvas print, his painting or his picture or whatever, photograph even, and then going in with little bits of paint and then varnishing it and selling it as original.
Oh, giclées and then painting over
Yeah.
them. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Say,
All right.
it's your standard canvas prints
Yeah.
but they're selling it as an original painting and it's
Oh
not.
boy.
It's legally
Oh
it's not.
boy.
It
Oh,
is an embellished print, which I sell
yes.
embellished prints on canvas.
As
I can show
embellished
you one.
prints.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's how you have
As
to market it.
Yeah.
The painter of light or whatever his name was, Thomas Kincaid used to do that all
Thomas
the time.
Kincaid.
He'd just knock out tons of them and people would be in a line. I used to
Yep.
work in a place like this, and you would just put embellishments all over it to give brushwork to it to make it look like a painting, like somebody had painted it.
Like
So,
they very rarely have real original paintings on a cruise ship. Those are almost
oh
always
yeah,
these.
yeah.
So, and so if they're selling that kind of work as original work, they don't understand the difference between an original piece and an embellished print, and that means you don't want this person representing you. You don't want this gallery representing you.
No.
Now, AI has entered the chat, which is a whole other thing. Yeah. So there are many galleries that are allowing AI in there. At the same time, the gossip this weekend is that an artist was physically removed with police for selling AI at the Dragon Con. So some of them are taking
Wow.
a stand, and they if you're pro AI, I'm not going to be able to get through to you. So it's the reality is that AI is a conglomerate, nightmare, a juggernaut of scraped images that were scraped without permission. My artwork's in the data set. I'm sure Ash's is too. And it's just churning out garbage. And people are like, no, I've done this, the same way that, you order a meal at a restaurant, you've declared yourself a chef. It's, it's not the same. It is not the same as sitting
wait,
down. There are,
I have a piece of Kyra Wilson art hanging on my wall. Now, am I not Kyra Wilson art now?
I mean, do you have a wedding dress?
Have you at any time hidden
Maybe.
behind a potted plant?
Yes. Maybe and yes. I'm just here for comic relief, y'all.
Wowzers.
Yeah, if you posted any of your artwork on any social media, you've
It's in the
It's
data
great.
set.
Yes.
Yep.
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 That's how I've had
Yeah.
to explain that to people when they come through. And I'm like, well, if you want to be seen and you're going to be out there, you're part of the machine now. So that's all there is to it.
Yep.
Welcome to the machine.
So, granted, I'm getting on board with Nightshade finally, but which Glaze and Nightshade are coming out with free versions. So, and that's a whole other thing that we're poisoning the data set. We can talk about that some other time. that's a whole other thing.
So, as you
But
see, Kira's got a whole series of shows she's going to be doing here at the Ginn Project over the next year.
I have to go get myself a ficus though.
I've got one on my front porch, Kira. I'll just bring it in here and set it on the table.
There we go. The smaller segue was outgrowing the gallery or if it's a bad fit. And so there's a couple quick ones we can hit. I know we're getting kind of late here, but like your sales prices increased beyond their prices. So I showed with a gallery in California and their average price was somewhere between 200 and 500 on average for paintings. They really didn't sell more than that, but mine were consistently going for double, triple, quadruple that. And she was like, can't really have you here. It's not going to sell because my clientele is in that lower range and that's what they expect. So I outgrew that gallery, and it was no harm, no foul. She didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. It's just that I was now not the right fit that I had been when I first started working with them. And so that, we moved on and she hasn't invited me back and I haven't wanted to come back because we're just a bad fit. But I have no bad things. As a matter of fact, I've referred many artists to her. So it's, and she's a very successful gallery out in LA. If they're not profiling you equally to the other artists, that's a red flag. So you should have at least equal footing with, I mean, if somebody has a solo show and you're in a group show, you're not going to be profiled the same way somebody has a solo show is. That's just the nature of the business, right? Solo shows are different from group shows. Group shows are where you send in one piece that they have a theme and it's 40 artists together. But they should be making an effort to, if that's their main show, to cycling through the artists and profiling everybody. So, and if you see they're not profiling them all equally, maybe you don't want to apply there too. So that's something to be aware of. So if you've been part of it and it was going great and now they're just kind of ignoring you altogether, then that's time to move on. So, your style shifts or the gallery collection shifts. So say you started off making landscapes and then you started doing pet portraits or dogs or lions or something. And it's a gallery that's full of landscapes. Your style has shifted, your focus has shifted, and you no longer belong in that gallery. Or the gallery could start showing different artists that you're still doing landscapes and all they're showing is animals. Then suddenly your work doesn't fit there anymore. So that's a shifting in narrative for one or the other. And again, nobody did anything wrong. You just have outgrown each other or whatever. And you should look for something else. And then you're making all your sales on your own. The gallery isn't helping you anymore. So you're bringing all the clientele to the table. Your collectors are snapping up your stuff left and right. The gallery isn't bringing new collectors from their group. They're just relying on you because you've got such a good sales presence. They're not earning their part, and that's not their fault if you've got this voracious pool of people snapping up your work left and right. It just means that maybe you've outgrown being in galleries altogether for a while. You can always go back at some point, but then you pull back because you're just giving away money that you shouldn't be giving away at that point. And then the last one is if the gallery suddenly seems to be having money problems or stops communicating, that is massive red flags. That means you go pull out your artwork, get out of there. It means the ship's going down. In most cases, and sometimes somebody could just be sick, but in most cases it's not just a week that they're not communicative. If you start seeing the basic red flags, you need to legally sever your relationship with them, get your stuff back, that kind of
If they're
thing.
not returning phone calls, if they're not answering your requests, if they're not answering emails, if they're all of that stuff, is what she's talking about.
Yep. And then the basic things I wanted people to understand about the galleries or co-ops is to understand the business relationship between the artist and the gallery are equal. The gallery is not more important than you, and you are not more important than the gallery. So you guys are partners in this sales venture that you've decided to work this way for you. And that's, if there's an imbalance in power in the relationship, then you need to kind of rethink, is this the right strategy for me? Is this the right gallery for me? Why is this here? You need to kind of step back. It's a time for reflection on your business. You need to get clear contracts always. If there's weird stuff in them, there's issues, anything that's ambiguous or vague is a red flag. And it might be by accident. And you're like, hey, I need some clarification on this one. And you can amend a contract. Also understand that when somebody gives you a contract, things can be amended if necessary. In some cases, not all of them, you can negotiate your percentage of commission. So commission is, you have to find that reasonable reason. You don't just have to sign off on 50% if it doesn't make sense. It usually does, like if you're in a group show or something, but if you're doing way more, you're working with a gallery and you're doing like everything for it, you still want to work with the gallery, well, then maybe you talk about, maybe you take 30% instead of 50, that kind of thing. It can be a negotiated rate. If you're bringing the clients in like crazy and you still want to work with them and you know that they're just being snapped up and you just rather shove it off to the gallery than negotiate for, a lower percentage, because that's an easy money thing for them too. Don't expect them all to negotiate with you though. So, and that's something you have to work your way through as well. make sure the gallery collection works with your work. Make sure that your work makes sense there. Like I said, landscapes and, kittens. If everything there's landscapes and you're painting kittens, that's not the right gallery for you. So you find the gallery that's profiling animals, and that's where you go. So that's really important to match that up, and you make sure that the gallery has a marketing strategy that makes sense for your work too. If you're doing landscapes and they're only marketing to people who frequent the zoo and they're doing like the PetSmart runs and stuff like that, then that's probably not the right market for you. So you need to know what the gallery's marketing strategy is, and don't be afraid to talk to the gallery or see. I mean, honestly, a lot of this stuff you can probably find by doing your sleuthing work and going to their website and looking at their about. And they should have a description of how they intend to reach people, what they kind of represent, how they fit in with things. They should have a good understanding of who they are and how they're positioned. And if they don't, you can ask questions, because it may be that they're so established they haven't needed to do that. That was cute. It may be that they don't need to do as much positioning online because they're a foot traffic one or something. That is one of those things to kind of work with and figure out. Make sure the gallery isn't dependent on you for clientele, and always keep clear records of all of your work. You need to, anytime you ship to a gallery, you need to make sure that you provide inventory and you keep inventory on your end as well. And then the gallery should always be able to provide you with what the current inventory is of what they've sold or whatnot. And so that way you have clear records on both sides. Always include inventory lists with your work that you're shipping, but also email it so you have a legal stamped, time-stamped kind of communication. And that's just, an important thing to keep in mind. If you agree to a reduced price, remember that that's split generally between the gallery owner and the artist. And that's super important. And if you leave the gallery, this is a big one. If you do decide to part ways with a gallery, they need to remove your name from their social media, like website and stuff like that. They cannot continue using you to market themselves to everybody else if you're not part of it anymore. So you need to make sure that they follow up on that too. So a lot of galleries, if you're a high selling artist, will try and keep your name on there, until you say, hey, we're not selling with you anymore. So you need to kind of get that off the website. And the last two is understand the tax liability you have in those states. And then you need to understand how the money is legally handled in the state or country that you're selling in. So, and that was my giant list.
That's awesome. I will say,
there's
in
the
the
scroll.
chat,
Yeah.
Jason Woodward, guitar player, badass
What up,
guitar
dude?
player. But Jason also works with an insurance company. He can get insurance for your artwork, for like my shop, your business, stuff like that. So if you wanted to talk to somebody about that kind of thing, and he's in the chat with you. So give him a follow and then hit him up. Anyway, how fortuitous.
Right?
So, Kyra, that was an absolutely phenomenal presentation. Ash, Chad, do you have things to add?
Yeah. Ash has all the things to add.
I do. The thing is, when you see a gallery putting up and just starting up, be wary. That's one of the places that I went to when I was first starting out, that all my artwork was damaged. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't have the proper clientele through, and they ruined pieces. And it was the risk, because I was a young artist. It was downtown Phoenix, and it was just starting out. The art walk was brand new, and it was a startup gallery. So be aware of the risks you take when you're starting out. That's all there is to it. And yeah.
Is it reasonable advice to say rely on some of your other artists that you trust and kind of talk about things? I mean, that's what we do. We sit down and talk about things, and that doesn't mean that we always, are able to miss the mistake too, right? But I think even if you make a mistake, if you are willing to discuss it with your contemporaries or whatever, then sometimes the damage isn't as bad. People can help you kind of unwind things
Oh yeah,
or
I've been
steer you in
saved
the right
by other
direction.
artists steering me away, and I've steered other artists away from other places. So yeah, and I've also said this place is great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I find I don't want to speak for anybody else on here, but I'm sure there's some people that feel this way. But we spend a lot of time and effort trying to promote artists and creators, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. There's a lot of different venues, whether it's festivals or gallery shows or galleries or whatever. Um, and the truth is, social media changes that game as well, right?
yes,
Because a lot of this is done now. A lot of the things that would have been done in person are done now in situations like this. This is just like a video call or something. So
Yeah.
it's a different dynamic, and
oh yeah,
we want to get behind things that could have potential without it completely ruining your artist inventory, right? Another example is, like Kyra was saying, if you show art in a gallery, there's a lot of other galleries that won't take it after that. So you got to pick, you got to pick the right gallery, and it's a hard decision to make because there's so many that fail. There are so many new startups. You want to support startups because you need some of those to succeed for there to be any galleries. So it's a difficult game to play, and we're all kind of in it together. And I think the more of us that are willing to share information and help each other out where we can ethically, right? You don't want to be just talking out of pocket either, but
Yeah.
where you can ethically look out for each other. I think in part that's what this show is about, right? Since the very first show, Chad and I have been trying to share analytics on how to do better lives,
Yeah.
right? And for me, it's part of being a member of a community, right? You take on some of that, I don't know, responsibility, I guess, for trying to share other artists and trying to promote other artists, but you can't 100% of them aren't going to be winners. That's just the nature of it.
no.
It's true.
Yeah, and
Something.
the most you can do is just try and support the people that have benefited, can benefit from your knowledge, or it's a cohesive symbiotic thing. If you support each other and you realize that even if an artist does well and you don't do well, it actually does help you too. It's understanding that not everything's going to be a home run for anybody. And the moment that somebody else does well in art, that just expands the opportunity for everybody else to do well too. And
Sure.
drop the
And
competition, start working together.
Yeah.
and we're not in an art economy. And that's not a political statement. That's a fact. We're not in an art economy right now, and it doesn't look like we're headed towards an art economy anytime soon. So those of us that make a living doing things like this are going to have to earn it. It's not going to come easy. And usually, when the money gets tight, the scammers get worse. All of that gets
Yes.
worse.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better; it gets worse. Unfortunately. I would most good to see you. So I appreciate you coming on so much, Kyra, and you have so much expertise, and so does Ash, frankly, and Chad has a lot too. It's just in a different area, but as far as galleries and having your work in galleries and being a galleried artist and dealing with all the ins and outs, Ash and Kyra have been doing this for a long time, y'all, and they're successful at it. So if you missed any information, I'll download this and we'll have it over on the Y-tubes. And I can guarantee you, if she doesn't disown me after this one, we're gonna have her back at some point because there's a lot of topics that we would like to cover. And fellas, I think this was going to be an example of kind of what we were hoping to accomplish. Right? I'm excited. I mean, I think this is what we were hoping
Yeah.
to do. Because
Yeah.
can I just say this? I think all of the people you see on the screen here put an above average amount of time into trying to help other artists and trying to promote other artists. And the thing that strikes me is, in a lot of instances, the young artists don't know, and some of the veteran artists, oddly, don't know much about how any of this works. And I think one of the things that we can do is to help share whatever information we can with those folks that are kind of up and coming and the established artists, because Eve's Artistry's in the chat. We've all seen her up her game in the last few months. It's undeniable. So even somebody as accomplished as Eve, even somebody who has been doing it as long as Eve, starts working with a group of people that have some different ideas and stuff like that. Boom, the next thing you know, she's doing big stuff. So I just feel like it was really kind of you, Kyra, and it's a really special thing to do, because educating the artists is almost more important than helping them get into galleries. Helping them understand what that actually means, I think, is where we got to start with a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Because my experience on here over the last couple of years has been that people that have been in the game for a long time really don't understand the game. In the same way that Chad and I and Ash and I are always shocked at the way people do lives and then don't understand why they don't get any traction in their lives. And we're like, well, like, there's 5 major things that you're doing that kill the algorithm for you, but do go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what was important to me about this particular show was telling artists stuff I would have liked to have known, because I got into the game pre-social media, almost pre-internet. It was
Easy.
the whole "be gentle with me, I'm from the 1900s."
Me too.
But I started off in the 90s teaching art through Hobby Lobby. When I was 16 years old, I taught painting, oil painting. And the game has changed. The game, so to speak, has changed so much. And there were so many things I didn't understand. And back then, a gallery was pretty much how you reached people. That and art fairs, and that was it. Or you knew somebody. And the advantage to social media, besides meeting amazing people from all over the United States who I wouldn't run into otherwise, or the world, and not just the United States. I'm not limiting myself. I have lots of friends everywhere. But I would not have met you all if it weren't for TikTok. And it also allows me to bring my art to a much wider audience, and it allows everybody else too. And there's so many things that are still universal rules that hold true, like when I was starting out, like the red flags for a gallery, stuff like that. But I didn't know, and I had nobody to tell me. And I would love for people to not you're going to go through your own problems. You're going to hit a speed bump at some point. But if I can help you avoid even one of those, that would make me feel really good personally. That's as nice as selling a painting. That's awesome, because we had some painful experiences in our path, trying to sell here or there. And I don't wish that on anybody else. I don't wish people have their inventory held hostage, or to not get paid, or to have a hole put through their work, or just lost entirely, or or the gallery shut down because of get seized by creditors. So I don't, and you're not going to be able to avoid all of them, but in particular right now I'm most concerned about the scams, and I don't want people to fall victim to the scams. So especially right now.
I think everybody on here has each other's backs, I hope. And, I've met you guys from around the country, and I wouldn't have met somebody like Mondo, who lives in my own state, unless we were on this platform. So I've gotten to meet a lot of great artists and great woodworkers and, creatives through this app. And I hope everybody is going to help each other out. And like I said, watch each other's backs.
We've got this, kids.
Yes, I mean, that's one of the benefits of being a community, right? Is looking out for each other.
Mondo, you should.
Mondo, I love your
that. I sent that to you.
NFTs?
It was a test.
So, Kyra, when do you have lives? Do you have a live schedule yet, or are you still really busy and not probably having a live schedule?
So
Mondays, maybe.
I am struggling Mondays maybe. I'm struggling with so I have a couple things I have to balance. One is that I can't necessarily share what I'm working on for my show until the gallery says yes, this is in, or no, this is out. If it's yes, that it's in the show, then nobody can see it. So I can't go live when I'm working on that. If it's not,
Yeah.
then I can share it. If I'm working on something that isn't for the show, or that kind of thing, then I can go live. So I have my pile of doom, and also sometimes I just need to get paintings out of my system, and those are ones that I'm going to try and do on Mondays. But if I'm on a painting streak, I'm in my groove, then I'm not going to go live with something I can't go live with. So I'm kind of sporadic. I know I want to be live and help people out, but I don't have a schedule right now.
Turn your notifications on.
Maybe Mondays.
Maybe Mondays.
Maybe Mondays with Kyra. But listen, I promise you, is if she's willing to come back, we will have her back more than once. There's a lot of subjects that we could talk about, and I would like to continue this thing to where we use half of the show to try to bring some information out there and talk about some topics that might be helpful. Sometimes just talk about topics that might be fun. And then the other half of the show is going to be doing interviews. They're going to be a little more concise. They're going to be an hour long. That'll give us time for some stuff before and after. But I hope that everybody enjoyed it. I know a lot of work went into this with Chad and Ash and Kyra, and I really appreciate y'all doing it. The new format is going to be like this, guys. We're gonna have a person on that's an expert, or they might not be an expert, and that might be what's funny. Who knows what we might do. But when Kyra comes on, it's serious business. The lady knows what she's talking about, and we may kid around a little bit about wedding dresses or whatever, but I promise you, I listen to what Kyra has to say. She knows what she's talking about. In 2 weeks,
Ash and I will be talking about neurosurgery. This will be great.
Yes. And I'll be sitting there with a confused look on my face. like normal. Ash, Chad, talk to us, man. Tell us what you got to tell us.
Tonight, in 2 hours,
yes,
come hang out with me. I'm going to hang out with Eve, and we're going to have game night. So 2 hours from now, come hang out with us for game night. And we're going to go as long as we want to go. No set schedule.
Do what they want.
Do what we want.
Yeah, they do what they want. I guess my closing statement is what I gathered. One of the major things here is this is a lot like the music industry. I mean, parallel, all the way down the road. And something I saw a lot in the industry was when you first started, you had to be on a record label. That was the big goal. That was the big dream. If you got a record label, you had made your accomplishment. And I saw a lot of people, friends of mine, even go rushing towards contracts because they made it. They got an offer. They got something. And they ran right into it face first, and it was like a brick wall. And I think what Kyra has been saying all evening is walk cautiously. It's not the end-all, be-all. It's not an immediate golden ticket. It's another avenue. And that's all it is. So don't jump face first into a contract or any of those binding natures without, checking it out. Make sure to keep your own self-respect and your own honor. Because if you can't do that at the end of the day, you're not going to be happy. And you do this because it makes you happy. So don't turn it upside down. Walk lightly. And that's what I got. Oh, yeah, and you know what? No, that's not all I got. Everybody, go check my bio. There's a GoFundMe for Johnny Ray. I'd appreciate if you could at least give a share. If you can't give $1, please and thank you. We won't go over the details. Y'all know, and if you don't know, go look. Johnny Ray, we love you, just like his sign says. Kyra, we love you too. Thank you so very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. I might come back if you ask. We'll see.
Maybe. You're getting snap applause from my wife over here. She said, these are for Kyra.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I will do my best to get it downloaded this very night and get it over on the YouTubes. I'm so grateful to you, Kyra. you're a light in this world, to be honest with you. And I can honestly say, Kyra, this is a true statement, that if you were not my friend, I probably would not be doing this show anymore. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
yo, yeah, y'all, Kyra definitely props us up. I will tell you that.
It's the wedding dress thing, right?
It is. It is.
Okay.
Thank you,
Just
everybody.
checking.
Kyra, what's your favorite color? Do you have a favorite color?
Purple.
What's your favorite color
Purple.
today? Purple. Please put some purple hearts in the chat for our good friend Kyra for being willing to come in here, share some knowledge with us. And she didn't even laugh at us the whole time. You know what I mean? She could have just come in here and laughed at us and been like, "You guys are idiots." But she did it. She was kind. She led with us gently. And there we go. Thank y'all. There you go, Kyra. For Kyra Wilson. I'm going to turn it over to the song that Black Country got us, and y'all know how this works. Kyra's probably going to dip out. Ash and Chad may or may not stay with you. I'm going to wander around and look like I'm doing something. Appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Ash Man. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Kyra. I love all of you. I appreciate you very much. I'm so fortunate to have you as my friends. Thank you. I got that from our friend
Haley Dot.
Yes.
We love you, Haley Dot. You did a great job tonight. Kyra, let's get to Tijuana. I'll see you there. Big love, y'all. Strings hum secrets, stories unfold on a Ginn Project Show. Where the soul runs deep, he builds guitars, makes the music speak. Artists come and the rhythm flows on the Ginn Project Show. Yeah, that's how it goes. Sawdust dances, a smoky tune, shaping the heart of a six-string bow. Every thread whispers, every note moves. You can hear the grain, it cries and laughs through the hands of a man down a winding path. On the Ginn Project Show, where the soul runs deep, he builds guitars, makes the music speak. Artists come and the rhythm flows on the Ginn Project Show. Yeah, that's how it goes. His hands are callous, his mind's a spark, turning wood into lightning, striking the dark. And the artists, they come, they lay their scars to the hum of his handmade stars. His hands are calloused, his mind's a spark, turning wood into lightning, striking the dark. And the artists, they come, they lay their scars to the hum of his handmade stars. Yeah. His hands are calloused, his mind's a spark, turning wood into lightning, striking the dark. And the artists, they come, they lay their scars to the hum of his handmade stars. That's how it goes.